Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're taking on a massive challenge that pretty much every new dancer faces, bridging that gap between the safe, cozy dance studio and the wild, wonderful world of the social dance floor. We're pulling some amazing insights from a guide all about navigating the Chicago dance scene the second you finish your classes. So if you've been learning some moves but feel a little terrified about stepping out into the real world, you are in exactly the right place.
So you know that feeling, right? Class is officially over, the instructor kills the music, and suddenly it hits you. Out there in the real world, absolutely nobody is going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 out loud for you. In the studio, you've got your familiar crew, a teacher watching your every step, and a totally controlled environment. But you didn't learn to dance just to stay hidden in a studio forever. You want to actually use these skills. But man, the idea of walking into a real-world social dance venue without a teacher's guidance, it can feel incredibly intimidating. Well, the good news is that Chicago's dance scene is literally massive, and they are so supportive of newcomers. You just need to know exactly where to go and how to approach it.
Here's our roadmap to tackle this intimidation. 1. Stepping out of class. 2. Latin, swing, and ballroom. 3. Picking the perfect venue. And 4. Your first night's strategy.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, stepping out of class, bridging the gap between the studio and the social floor.
Now, this brings us to an absolutely crucial mental shift, unlocking your social brain. Look, when you're in class, you're locked into class brain. You know what I mean? You're hyper-focused on perfection, your technique, where your feet are, and strict timing. You're constantly judging yourself. But to actually survive and have fun on a social floor, you gotta let that go. You need to transition to your social brain. It's way more relaxed. The whole goal shifts to just keeping the momentum, connecting with your partner, and honestly, just feeling the flow of the music. A social night is absolutely not about perfection. It's about practice and joy. Making this mental shift is literally step 1 to having a good time.
So you might be wondering, where do we actually go to practice this in Chicago? Well, beginners generally have 2 really solid drop-in options. On the one hand, you've got dance centers. A lot of the time, these are the exact same studios where you take your classes, but they host weekly social nights. It's super familiar, your instructors might be hanging around, so it's a wonderfully easy transition. On the flip side, you have community venues scattered all over the city. These places have incredible momentum because people are there specifically to dance, not just to grab a drink and watch. They offer a highly consistent vibe with dedicated dancers and great etiquette. So just think about which of these 2 environments feels like the safer launchpad for you. Moving right along to Section 2, Latin, swing, and ballroom, navigating different dance styles and expectations. And this brilliantly illustrates how your specific style actually changes the game. Because yeah, the style of dance you're learning totally dictates what kind of night you're looking for. Let's break this down. If you're doing Latin styles, we're talking salsa, bachata, cha-cha, social nights are huge on partner rotation. It's rapid fire and it's an amazing way to build confidence fast, even if your timing isn't totally flawless yet. A massive pro tip here, skim the event schedule and show up for the warm-ups or skill segments. It's the ultimate icebreaker. Now, if you're in the swing or ballroom camp, the vibe is a bit different. Your focus is on following signals, dialing in that physical connection, and just getting comfortable running through basic patterns. For these events, you absolutely want to arrive early. There's usually this great pre-floor socializing time, which takes so much pressure off before you even take a step. Now, I need to share a quick but absolutely crucial detail from our source, especially for the Latin dancers out there. When you're searching for events in Chicago, make sure you look for clearly advertised social Latin nights. You definitely want to avoid anything geared purely towards performances or heavy competition. Seriously, walking into a high-pressure competitive room when you're just starting out? No way. That's just a recipe for feeling totally overwhelmed. You want a room full of people who are just there to vibe and practice, just like you.
All right, on to Section 3, picking the perfect venue, using quick signals to find the right match. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how easily you can vet a place before you even leave your couch to guarantee it matches your level. Not every dance night is for every level, right? So look for these green lights on the event page. First, is there a clear style focus? It should explicitly say it's for Latin, swing, or ballroom. Next, look for beginner-friendly language. Stuff like all levels welcome or intro class included. Also, make sure the DJ or music is specifically curated for social dancing, not just background noise for a bar crowd. And finally, keep an eye out for community cues in the description, like rotating partners or open practice time. If an event checks these boxes, you're golden. Okay, let's talk about the dress code. You'll probably see one listed on the event page, but honestly, follow it pretty loosely. The whole shebang here is about feeling comfortable enough to actually move. Please don't overcommit to formalities and end up sweating through a stiff suit or tripping over overly fancy shoes. Comfort and mobility are way, way more important than a strict dress code on a social floor. And that brings us to our final section. Number 4, your first night strategy, a concrete game plan for your first social outing. You really need to treat this first night out as a learning experience, not a grand performance. You need a game plan to reduce that friction. So the crucial point is to follow this exact logical sequence to build your confidence organically. Step 1, do a small warm-up using exactly what you practiced in class. Actually, scratch that. Only what you practiced. Don't try anything crazy or new yet. Step 2, just take a few dances to settle into the environment and shake off the jitters. And step 3, make sure you stick around long enough to catch at least 1 or 2 really good flow songs. You know, the ones where everything clicks and you just get lost in the music.
To make this whole transition infinitely easier, keep these pro tips in mind. First off, if you can, arrive with a friend. It instantly reduces that awkward walking in alone friction, and boom, you've got a guaranteed first dance partner. Once you're inside, go find the event host and just ask them how the floor works. Is there a line of dance? How do people ask each other to dance here? It's that simple. And hey, don't hesitate for a second to ask nearby dancers for a little guidance either. You really don't have to figure this all out in isolation.
Now, if you're worried about bothering the regulars, I really want you to hear this quote from our source material. Most Chicago dancers love helping newcomers feel welcome, especially when you're showing up specifically to practice. Seriously, the community is actively rooting for you. They were all beginners once too, and they genuinely want you to succeed and find your footing out there. So, we've gone through the whole playbook, right? We covered the mindset shift, the different style expectations, reading the venue signals online, and your exact game plan for the night. With the right venue and a little bit of strategy, those steps you grinded out in class will absolutely transform into real, undeniable confidence on the dance floor. The Chicago scene is out there waiting for you. So my question to you is, with the right venue and strategy, your class turns into real confidence. Which venue will you conquer this weekend? Figure out your style, find that perfect neighborhood spot, and just go for it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy dancing.